Warning, this video contains some graphic content and spoilers for the Banana Splits movie. If a gory slasher with animatronics or just FNAF interests you, I'd recommend giving this movie a watch first, then coming back here for a chat. If not, let's talk horror. Specifically, horror comedy The Banana Splits movie released in 2019. Written by Jeff Elinoff, Scott Thomas, and directed by Danishka Esterhazy, whom also directed a remake of 1982's dividing cult classic Slumber Party Massacre, which I'd love to give a watch to. Remakes are typically letdowns, but I am hopeful, although the reviews seem a bit divided. Sounds good. But back to the Banana Boys. The Banana Splits movie, to give a brief summary, is a comedy/horror reimagining of a 1968 children's TV show called The Banana Splits, which is already fun as hell. A horror spin on anything as innocent as a kid show with some comedic moments thrown in. I mean, you'd think it'd be a great way to kill an hour and a half. And you'd be right. And you'd be right? The movie follows Harley Williams, who through his mom Danny's love and his brother Austin's lover, Paige, finds himself backstage of the Banana Split show meeting the Splits themselves. Woo! Yeah! Fleagle, Bingo, Drooper, and Snorky. And Stevie, but nobody really likes him. This all sounds like a dream given the boy loves these guys. However, the Banana Splits are currently in the middle of a murderous rampage, whilst also kidnapping kids and making them watch as they torture the producer. Yeah. If you didn't want to watch the movie before, that should about do it for convincing you, I'd say. This is a goofy, gory B-movie sauteed with some darkness. Perfect. So what's the problem? This movie seems like a dime. Why, if it's such a good movie, does its sequel potentially need advocating for? Oh yeah, to catch you up, the Banana Splits movie was going to get a sequel called The Banana Splits 2, Road Split, but was canceled due to both audiences and critics not loving it, and Hanna-Barbra fans were upset by the gore. Hanna-Barbra being the creator of the original 1968 Banana Splits TV show. As a mild fan of Hanna-Barbra loving Tom and Jerry and Scooby-Doo, I don't find this Banana Splits movie offensive. However, admittedly, I didn't grow up on the Banana Splits, so I don't think I fully understand the trauma. There's also another reason why the Banana Splits is never going to get a sequel, but we'll get to that. But this was all to my surprise immediately after watching the movie. Very much enjoying it, and then seeing its ratings and learning of the cancellation of its continuation. Needless to say, I was in Bummertown, USA. I think it's perfect for what it is. It's supposed to be a fun slasher movie, and it nails it for the most part. Although the comedy throughout the movie isn't side-splitting, it never took me out of the experience, and I was genuinely impressed with the practical effects during the death scenes all the way through the movie. The movie looked good. So what did folks have issues with aside from this movie potentially ruining their childhood? Well, let's see. The characters are a bit stiff for sure, but it seemed to me as if everyone was at least trying. I don't know, nothing stood out to me that much on the subject of bad acting. I had a good time. I think child actor Finlay Wojciech-Hissong, who plays Harley, does a great job, as well as his partner in crime, Zoe, played by Maria Nash. The mom, Beth Williams, is a typical badass final girl type, which is always fun. And Harley's brother Austin, played by Romero Carrere, is definitely the poster child of lacking expression. But it works the most with his character. He's a dorky but doing his best, and it's just kind of working out for him type guy. Him and Paige, played by Naledi Majola, on screen together, I don't know. It just worked for me. I was shipping hard. What can I say? So definitely dull characters, but some gems for sure if you're looking. And boy was I looking. Of course, there were some other basic villainous types aside from the Splits, like Stevie, played by Richard White, Mitch played by Steve Lund, and Andy played by Daniel Fox. They all play pretty unlikable dudes, and you're basically just waiting for them to get oofed. But unlikable characters getting offed is usually pretty satisfying, so unlikable or not, this isn't a B-movie where the actors' performances ruined it for me. I don't know, man. Story and script. The story isn't bad. It's not mind-bending nor too challenging, and no, it's not a scary movie per se. There aren't any jump scares or tension-building scenes. or at least any that worked for me. However, jump scares are typically overused and cheap, so I would actually give points for the lack of them. Tension building, however, yeah, you're not going to lose any sleep over this one here. But it's a fun B-movie slasher. It doesn't need to redefine horror or terrify you. It's fun, it's bloody, it's an hour 29, you're in and out. Cheesy or slow, I enjoy a good slasher. And I believe this movie, at the very least, is that. A solid, short, sweet slasher. The showing of the Banana Splits that Harley goes to see live is actually the last episode of the Banana Splits in the movie. The producer, Andy, gets a promotion and wants to end the show and pursue something cool and edgy. Thus, in turn, leads to the Splits having an episode and killing off those in control of the old show and the adults of the viewing audience to kidnap all the kids and make them watch their new show forever and ever. Because, of course, the show must go on. I don't see a problem with this writing. I think it's fun, and it gets the ball rolling. Given that the actual Banana Splits show started in 1968 and ended in 1970, running for just 2 seasons, and the Banana Splits movie takes place present day in 2019, indicating that the show never ended in this universe. That means that in universe, the show has been running for almost 50 years, giving the Splits a pretty good motive for not letting go. They love performing for the children. Aw, kind of wholesome. Those reviews were from IMDb. I bought the movie on YouTube, and all the comments seemed to enjoy the movie, and so did a fair amount on IMDb. Some people were less than impressed for sure, but a quick side note, if you decide to dig through the reviews for this movie, there is an abundance of reviews that have a problem with this movie ruining or warping their nostalgic love of the original show. And that's valid. I am obviously removed from that group, but I will say that's more of a personal dilemma between the viewer themselves and the characters. So if you look and ask around about the movie, you're gonna get mixed results. It's just a movie you either love or hate, and I just happen to fall on the losing side. Despite mixed reviews, the real reason we'll never see the Banana Splits in a horror light again is because people just want a Five Nights at Freddy's movie, which is actually what this movie's script was originally written for. I'm in no way against a FNAF movie. I'd love to see Chica shake that ass on the silver screen as much as the next FNAFer, but I really think they had something special here with this Banana Split stuff. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just a worm. So will we get a sequel? I'd say it's a definite no. It's looking like it's Freddy's turn to try out the big screen. And as a pretty big fan of the Banana Splits movie, I'm kind of glad. I'd hate for a sequel to get made and ruin what I believe is a good open and shut isolated movie. Open and shut being said, it sucks how open they left the ending. Almost as if this story needed another movie to be fully fleshed out. I think it's one of those movies that will continue to be forgotten more and more as the years pass. Especially if that FNAF movie ever gets made. Hate that it leans so far into the sequel, but aside from that, not a bad film. So if you have an hour and a half to kill and $3 to spare, give it a watch before it's too late. Mad rips to the Splits. Next week, we're taking a break from movies and TV and looking at this here. Yep,